Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Lucid 9. And we were starting our investigation, and we decided to go to the courtyard. Can't remember what I did the first time I played this game. It's been a while. Anyway, the courtyard is usually a right place for gossip. Maybe I can glean something from there. I find a first-year class and a third-year class in the midst of some outdoor session. The first years seem to be in PE. They're paired off, standing on opposite sides of a badminton net. The third years seem to be in art, judging from the easels before them. Interestingly enough, Elizabeth is here, pleasantly chatting with an adoring first year. Honestly, I'm surprised that she took so well to being ordered around by Shigure. Maybe she's just sucking up because Shigure is part of law enforcement. I see. Thank you for your help. No problem, Elizabeth. She races back to her friends by the badminton net, chattering excitedly that Elizabeth Oshiro just spoke to her. I'm about to stride over, but another familiar girl slides next to her with a smile. Natsuki Tanaka, the mystery within a mystery. Why, what might you be doing here, Beth? Hey, Natsuki! Art? Charcoal fingers, you know how it goes. Really, though, why aren't you in class? It isn't like you to skip. Oh, I'm not skipping. This is for work. Here's the thing, isn't it a Saturday? So why the fuck are there classes on a Saturday? Work? A different work. For my father, of sorts. Her father? Why her father? And again, I can understand why she wouldn't want to mention Shigure. Your father? Sounds important. Actually, you're good with information. Can you tell me anything about the recent disappearances? The recent disappearances? On the news. Oh, those disappearances. She says this airily, as if disappearances are simply an everyday event, Isamu. Elizabeth doesn't even seem fazed. Let's ask around, shall we? Thanks, Natsuki. The two girls split off. Natsuki settles in front of her easel, but strikes up conversation with her neighbor. Elizabeth continues to pull aside first years from the badminton court. I really shouldn't tease her, but the opportunity is just too tempting. I slide around the edge of the court until I'm right behind Elizabeth. The news showed it today. Oh yeah, now I remember. Crouch down, lean over, and... Tea and crumpets! Bloody hell! Eek! I snicker as a chain of expletives. Poor... Oh my god, I can't fucking read right now. I snicker as a chain of expletives pour from Elizabeth's mouth. She whirls around, daggers in her eyes. I think I just wasn't paying attention because it was just like when I screamed, my bird freaked out. It's kind of funny. Oh, my poor thing. Poor birdie. I'm sorry. What on this bloody planet are you trying to pull, you gormless git? There's her British side, strong as I've ever seen it. Must have made her really mad this time. I can only grin as I speak in an exaggerated drawl. Would you like some tea and crumpets? How about some fish and chips? You're just so handsome, charming, brilliant, delusional. I can almost appreciate that. Well played, Elizabeth Oshiro. Whoa! It's only then when we remember that we were having an audience. Elizabeth manages to set her face back into a smile for the gaping first years. What? I didn't know you guys were dating. A thrill of indignation races through me, and I immediately release Elizabeth, who's attempting to speak past incoherent spluttering. We aren't! I'd never date her. Not that he would ever get the chance. Not that I'd ever want the chance. Well, that makes the both of us. The first year giggles, stopping us in our tracks. Oh, sorry. It's just, your bickering is so cute. It kind of reminds me of Mom and Dad. Strangely enough, Elizabeth's face suddenly burst into color. I only find myself thinking, I worry for your parents. Sorry, I've got to get back to class, but it was nice talking with you, Elizabeth. The first year skips into the badminton court, leaving a very angry Elizabeth with me. I hope you're proud of yourself. You just wasted time at the expense of human lives. Gee, that's morbid. This is a serious investigation, Yama. We might get a lead on a kidnapper. Kidnapper? Never mind. She storms off, contained rage emanating from her and the freshman... She storms off, contained rage emanating from her, and the freshmen inch away, uncomfortable. I've been dismissed and feel the guilt wash over me. I just don't understand why she takes everything so seriously. The courtyard is ripe for gossip, but for solid leads, not a great plan. Well, whatever, I should keep my mind on the case. After a look around, I spot a third year at the fringes of the courtyard, quietly examining a squirrel in a nearby tree. Quiet, observant, in the sidelines. Seems like a good person to talk to. I make my way to her, slowly, so I don't startle her. She looks up at me with a cordial smile. Hello. Hey, sorry, this sounds strange, but do I look familiar? She looks up at me through her lashes, batting them subtly. Oh. No. I've got a question. You're handsome. I'm beginning to see why this girl is kind of separate. Look, do you know if there's been anything strange going on around school recently? Are you a Siberian spy? Pardon? People who ask those sorts of things are often spies, and Siberia's been looking into conquering Japan recently. I'm struck speechless by this airy statement. After a few moments of blank staring, she returns to her sketches. Having a bit of trouble there, Yama. Natsuki suddenly pops up next to me, a cat-like smile spreading across her face. Not really. I probably should have chosen someone else to talk to, though. By any chance, do you happen to be investigating the same thing as Beth? What makes you think that? You are you not? Maybe I am. Shall I lend you a helping hand? Don't overexert yourself. What would life be without a bit of overexerting? Leaving me with this thought, she turns to the girl, smiling slightly. Have you watched the news as of late? Don't really watch news. Nobody has time for television. Oh, but you know what's behind the disappearances, do you not? Unless that bit of art on your easel is simply a Rorschach test. I glance at the easel. Before, I thought it was just a bunch of splatters of graphite, but when I look closer, it seems to resemble blood, mixed with flesh and shards of bone. The sight of it almost makes my mind hazy, but I'm able to keep a grip on myself. I watch the news a lot. Here, they play it in the hallways sometimes, or in the dorm lounges. It is obvious there is a terrible hand behind these disappearances. Oh? There are 3 disappearances. Each took place after curfew. They logged in for curfew, but then left like Atlantis. That doesn't make any... Patience, Yama. She is not quite finished. The student stares blankly at her canvas before continuing. Midori Maino, she was the first, the precedent. She disappeared 8 days ago, before the beginning of prison. Prison? She is referring, of course, to school. Right. I'm growing to like this girl, as odd as she is. Toma Hayashi, he was next, energetic, with the spirit of Loki. He disappeared on the first day of school, 5 days ago. The last, Akane Tsukino, she disappeared 2 days ago. Akane, that name sounds very vaguely familiar. So, whatever do you find odd about these vanishings? It appears to, at the very least, perturb your canvas. The student blinks languidly before she responds. The curfew, they all logged in for curfew. I frown for a moment, running some quick calculations. The academy curfew is at 11:30 p.m. By that time, students have to log themselves from their dorm rooms to verify their presence. So, if I get what this girl is saying, they're listed as present for curfew, but somehow, while everyone was sleeping, they disappeared. How's that possible with the current security parameters around the academy? The student sets down her pencils. Shadows follow you wherever you go. They had large shadows indeed. And now she's back to making no sense. I don't understand what you're... Most interesting. Thank you for your cooperation. I raise an eyebrow at Natsuki, but she only shakes her head minutely. The student is looking rather wistfully at her canvas. It might be best to leave her alone. Thanks for the info. Do not betray this country, Siberian spy. She turns back to the canvas as Natsuki and I step away, leaving her in peace. Well, Yama, you can take that however you may. Thanks. Anything for dear Beth. Okay, whatever. Now that I think about it, the fact that Natsuki wrung that information so easily is chilling. Oh, it seems Beth is having a bit of a trying time. I follow her gaze to the edge of the badminton court, where Elizabeth is clearly trying to rein in her temper against an impudent first year. Doesn't surprise me. She doesn't seem to be able to deal with people who aren't falling all over her shoes. Oh my, shall we save Beth? Before I can respond, Natsuki cups her hands around her mouth and calls out. Oh, Beth! Elizabeth storms over in a tight coil of barely contained frustration, her mouth pulled in a thin smile. Yes, Natsuki? Haven't much luck, I gather. Elizabeth only shoots a piercing glare at me. What are you still doing here? Well, here we go again. To pay my respects to the Queen of England. She closes her eyes, slowly kneading at her temples with the tips of her fingers. Your queen commands an ordinance. Go away! But I'd really rather not. You see, I'm in the mood for some tea. What does tea have anything to do with me? Well, you know, serving tea, serving coffee. When I say this, her eyes widen and she immediately kicks at my shins. It stings much more violently than I thought it would. What are you doing? Biting my kneecaps? You just don't know when to stop, do you? Oh, Beth, it's a little joke. Lighten up. I'm honestly surprised that she's taking my side, considering that she's Elizabeth's friend. And again, she doesn't seem like a typical friend. Well, I've got more important things to do than stand around bickering with Yama, so bye. Then a good day to you, madame. Give my regards to the king, if you ever find one. She whisks around and strides off without a word. Looks like I won this round. Oh, Beth, ever upset. Even though Natsuki's words seem sympathetic, there's a tinge of amusement to her tone. It's disconcerting. Miss Tanaka, back to your easel, please. Well, I'd best be off to class. Good luck on your little goose chase, Yama. She winks as if looking for clues on serial vanishings is equitable to looking for a lost eraser, and disappears behind her easel. I glance at my phone. Looks like it's already time to meet at the roof. With a few minutes, everyone's gathered on the rooftop. I take stock of the unfortunates. Rui, Shigure, and Are seem disappointed. Yahiko and Elizabeth seem tired. Misaki and Akira seem to be unchanged, and Masato looks like he's on the brink of death. Despite the idiocies of bureaucracy, it appears that a crucial piece of information did surface. That the students all disappeared even after curfew? Yes. You may elaborate further, Ishiyama. I glance around, but no one else seems willing to talk, not even Rui, who is excited to play detective. Well, basically, each of the students logged in for the 11:30 p.m. curfew in their rooms. By all intents and purposes, that should have rendered them safe. Even if they're allowed to leave the dorm building, they have to stay on campus, and it's not like anyone else can get in without security parameters around the building. So we have something strange on our hands, since they disappeared when they shouldn't be able to. Well, as I decide our next course of action, I recommend that each of you obtain your desired nourishment. Dismissed. She plops down on a nearby bench, digging through her satchel. Ari settles next to her, pulling a peach out of her backpack. The others take various places around the rooftop greenhouse, retrieving lunchboxes from their bags. I notice Yahiko slide into the bench next to Misaki. Elizabeth sits opposite of Shigure, alone. Akira whips out Annette Diana Hellenson, the 14th, lays her on the floor. When Rui and Masato attempt to sit on her, Akira gestures frantically at Rui. Oh! Yeah. Rui quickly makes her way to me, extending a lunchbox with two hands. Hey, you didn't bring any food, right? I made extra. You can have it if you want. You made enough food to fill an extra lunchbox? I accidentally made a lot more than I expected, okay? Just take it. I can only stare at the lunchbox, my mind racing ahead of me. Should I? I'd rather not hurt her feelings, but isn't accepting homemade food from someone synonymous with accepting their feelings? I glance at Akira for help, but she's pointedly looking away from us. Maybe she wants to give us privacy. Take it before my arm falls off, idiot! That's the break for me. I'm comfortable enough to accept the lunchbox. Thanks. No problem. She suddenly dashes back to Annette Diana Hellenson, the 14th, leaving me alone with the lunchbox. I glance inside. Delicious eggs are neatly rolled and topped with seaweed, set in an aesthetic bouquet. Beside a bed of rice. The rice is shaped into a lantern, decorated with lettuce, carrots, and cucumber. It looks unbelievably delicious, but just when I'm about to dig in, some commotion catches my attention. So, what's it like being in Lotus Modeling? Do you live an extravagant life with servants who wait on your beck and call? I wouldn't say extravagant, but it is fun. You get to meet so many new people, visit so many new places, try so many new things. It's a great experience. Although it can be really demanding sometimes. Demanding? How? It's a competitive business, so it requires a lot of commitment. That's why I'm usually absent from class. And the school allows that? Surprisingly, my grades aren't being affected, so I suppose they don't see it as a problem. Do you think Lotus would have an opening for the great Yohiko Akari? I highly doubt that his grades would allow him to work as a model. You are handsome, so I don't see why not. Did she just call Yohiko handsome? I admit he's not bad looking, but I didn't expect her to be so blunt about it. Yeah, you're right. Of course they wouldn't deny my impeccable charms. What's your number? I'll be sure to text you when I find something. I can only shake my head incredulously as they begin sharing contact info. I dig into my free lunch, relishing the explosion of flavor in my mouth. Rui's really improved at cooking. As I eat, I continue to examine my surroundings. The next group catch my attention is Ari and Shigure. Ari is quietly munching on a peach in her standard baby hamster fashion. Shigure, meanwhile, has propped her feet up on a flower bed like a gangster. She appears to be eating some kind of sweet green dumpling. Shigure? Yes? Is that enough? What, this? She gestures to the green balls in her hand. Ari nods. More than enough. They're melon paste mochi, the root of immortality. Or mochi. Is it mochi? I think it's mochi. The root of immortality. What? There are no vegetables, no fruit, no protein. Well, yes, but... It is not nutritious. Eat some veggies? If you insist, Ari. Ari shares a rare smile at this. I'm surprised by how open she is around Shigure. Makes me wonder how they know each other. Not only that, but Shigure actually listens to Ari. It seems like Ari's the only one who can put her in her place. Galloping goats! You don't mean to say! I do indeed. He is gone by now, far behind the city limits, and out of your scheming hands. And there go those two again. You misunderstand the meaning of omniscience, my dear Lady Bingham. Ha! As if you could beat true love! Oh no, I happen to know that your love is hiding. Right here! She whips her finger around in my direction, but thankfully Masato suddenly steps in front. Huh? Me? Jumping jackals, I always thought that sort of thing only happened in dramas. That's a proper Destiny-like moment, isn't it, Rui? Masato? My true love? Yeah, I don't think so. Masato seems to take this as a challenge. Every muscle tightens with competitive aggression as he steps between Rui and Akira, brandishing an imaginary sword. Come on and fight me, you big coward! Yeah, I'm here. I challenge you to a duel to the death. No! Duel to the pain! I smell disaster afoot. The hell's a duel to the pain? First your feet are cut off, below the ankles, and then your hands at the wrists, and then your eyes, and then your tongue. But that's only if I lose, right? Easy! Now fight me, you crooked canary! On second thought, peace! You can be with your true love! She flees away from the scene, taking cover behind Shigure. What are you doing? I'm hiding in the Alps. You're the Alps. Go away. I am not the Alps. That's what the Alps always say. Leave. In an unusual burst of energy, she reaches out and shoves Akira to the ground. Everything happens at once. Rui rushes to Akira, worriedly checking her for injury. Elizabeth and Misaki immediately get to their feet. Yahiko freezes while Masato sprints at Shigure. The hell was that about? I'm thinking. Don't disturb me when I'm thinking. You didn't have to shove her. She wouldn't have left otherwise. How do you know that, eh? I took a moment to analyze all of you when we first met, if you recall. You can't know someone by one look. You can if you possess at least one functional hemisphere of a brain. Don't talk like that, Shigure. Guys, I'm fine. Let's just calm down. This does nothing to stop the rising tension. Even I can't help but feel amped up. It's one thing for Shigure to insult me, and another thing for her to insult one of my friends. Even if I insult him all the time. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite, I know. It's different, though, because, like, you're joking around with your friends. This is someone who doesn't know that person. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. Just let me be. I need to think. Ain't you gonna say you're sorry? I won't say I'm sorry for something I have no reason to be sorry for. Oh my god, haven't I heard that before? Akira didn't even do anything to you. She had no awareness of the comfort of others. She completely disregarded Ari's feelings on the matter. Everyone's eyes land on Ari, who stares blankly at her peach. Come to think of it, Akira would have been right next to Ari. I didn't mean to make anyone uncomfortable. I thought you guys were lonely. Just because you may be lonely in an identical situation does not give you the right to push your opinions on other people. I'm sorry. You did nothing wrong, Akira. Stop this, Shigure. On the contrary, you two were the ones horsing around, dragging everyone into your uncomfortable scenarios. Hey, ain't you the one making us investigate for you? I did nothing of the sort. Ishiyama was your requester. That ain't no excuse. Stop being so single-minded and think for once. All you can do is band together like sheep. Why don't you approach this from Ari's perspective? Everyone once again looks to Ari, who stops munching her peach. Well, you just put her on the spot, which would make her uncomfortable. Don't speak as if you know more than I. Maybe you're the stubborn one, huh? This is degenerating fast. What's surprising is that Elizabeth and Misaki aren't making a move. They're just sitting back, watching the display before them without emotion. Clearly, they value Shigure too highly to fight back. Which means I have to do it. Rui, you may be saying this because you're still learning, but in the world of detectives... No, what you did was unnecessary, Shigure. Please don't tell me this is real life. Don't you lecture me about what real life is or not. Or is or not. Shut up! All of you! Amazingly, they actually quiet down. Akira, you're okay. Righter than rain, Cap! There's a slight tremble in her voice, but I ignore it. No need to stir up any more trouble. Good. Shigure, don't shove people. If she was making Ari uncomfortable... Ari? Were you uncomfortable? A tense moment of silence falls on the group. Ari only shrugs inconclusively. Okay, whatever. Akira, don't get too close again. Shigure, don't shove Akira again. Solved. But that's not fair to... Solved. That's it. Understood? Thankfully, she nods sullenly. Shigure only straightens her glasses, but I'm pretty sure that she'll also behave herself. Presently, I notice that Elizabeth and Misaki are looking at me with a tinge of respect. Well, at least someone's pleased with me. Guys, why don't we cool off a bit? Let's do something fun. Nobody seems to react, but somehow I can tell that they're all interested. Fighting has a way of sucking you dry. Maybe it would be better to redirect everyone's energy to something else. Something where, if they end up fighting, at least they won't cause permanent emotional or physical scars. What do you suggest? Watching a movie? I suddenly shake my head. We'd never get everyone to agree on the same movie. I mean, how about an amusement park? An amusement park? Yeah, there's that new high-tech one by the mall. You know, with the new Lemniscate attractions. Lemniscate attractions. I vaguely recall seeing something like that on the news. Lemniscate, the mega corporation of all things technical and media-related, partnering with a handful of large amusement parks all over the country. Apparently they were going to revolutionize entertainment. Oh, those looked amazing! Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun! I'm in. Elizabeth only shakes her head. As remarkable as it sounds, I must pass. I've other duties to attend to. I consider this for a moment. Should I let her go? She did try her best in the investigation. But if the image of a squealing Elizabeth on a top-level roller coaster is just too good to pass up. Elizabeth, do you know anything about coffee? Her face pales and she quickly glances around at the others. When they only return a look of confusion, she storms over to me, angrily hissing into my ear. Stop that! Then come with us. Give me one reason. Because you don't want anyone to find out about your job. Give me another reason. Because you'd be alone if you stayed here, and that's kind of sad to me. The thought comes before I can stop it. I quickly wave it away so it won't take root. The last thing I need right now is to sympathize with Elizabeth. Because I'm so dashing. That isn't a good reason. You asked for a reason. That doesn't necessarily merit a good one. Blimey, I simply can't believe you. She steps back, raising her voice so everyone can hear. Fine, but who is paying? I look to Shigure. Everyone follows suit. For a second, the detective stares back at us, uncomprehending. Then she leaps to her feet, face coloring in anger. No, absolutely not. Why? I harbor no incentive in chaperoning an inordinately extensive conglomerate of cognitively impaired juveniles to a venue whose solitary objective is the frivolous squandering of time. The insults only fuel me to think harder. The amusement park won't be cheap. We need Shigure to pay for us. The question is, what would make her? Oh, of course! If it has anything to do with the case, Shigure will be there in the blink of an eye. Well, I wasn't going to mention this because it seemed trivial at the time, but there was a minor lead from today, and you did not think to tell me sooner? Like I said, it felt too trivial for me to mention. Honestly, I don't really want to go to the park, but I feel like it might give us some important information. Well, what was the lead? Ad-libbing in front of a teacher is one thing, but ad-libbing in front of Shigure is a different matter entirely. I struggled to work past my sluggish brain for the answers. Well, there were some claims that the Yakuza might own the amusement park. It might give us a clue on how students are able to leave the campus after curfew. Wait, there's no reason for the Yakuza to be affiliated with the disappearances. Well, that would tie two controversial pieces of evidence from last week. Is she serious? Ari, amusement park? I shouldn't go. Remember? Surprisingly, Ari's silence only seems to strengthen Shigure's resolve. Don't think of it in such a manner. Very well, Ishiyama, let us depart. Really? And you're paying for everyone? Oh yes, with your future wages. I'm not even getting paid. Hey, what's going on up here? As if there wasn't a party enough, Mr. Ryota arrives on the scene, brandishing a ruler in his right hand. He stops short upon seeing our little group. Yama? Hey, Mr. Ryota. Why, if it isn't the J-Man! Sup, Mr. Ryota? Hey, gents, ladies. What the hell is going on up here? Third floor offices swore up and down that someone was getting murdered. I recall the decibel level of the recent argument and feel slightly guilty. Were we that loud? Loud enough that I'm supposed to give a disturbance warning, apparently. He brandishes a pile of detention notes threateningly. Everyone stiffens. Except Shigure. And me. Probably a bad sign. Oh no, please, Mr. Ryuta! Whatever could be wrong, Mrs. Oshiro? And with a total lack of elegance, he flings the slips of paper over the banister of the roof. They rain down in shards of flapping pink to the school pool below. Listen, kids. You totally weren't here, the offices were totally just hallucinating, and I totally did not just toss the detention slips into the pool. Relief pops up on everyone's faces. Trust Mr. Ryuta to be the rebel. Now scram before they fire me, yeah? We don't need any further encouragement. And this is the perfect place to wrap this part up. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.